I recently started a Ruhi Book 6 with some friends, and we began with a summary of how we got to Book 6. So, just as a reminder, Ruhi Book 1 can be seen as what it means to be a spiritual human being. And the practice in Book 1, as you're aware, is saying a prayer with a friend, just getting together and saying prayers. Now, when you say prayers with friends, they often want to say prayers about the things that are most important to them, their deepest concerns. Once you say those prayers, you generally get into a conversation with them. At least that's been my experience. I would say about 80 or 90% of those conversations are the same themes that we address in Ruhi Book 2 in the third unit. So, Book 2 in some ways, is how to share what it means to be a spiritual human being with others. And one of the skills that we learn is that conversation. Now, there's a lot of other skills that we need to learn, obviously. So we move on to book 3 because, most people's concerns revolve around their children. So we learn about how to help children see themselves as spiritual human beings. And at the same time, in book 3, we also learn a little bit about group dynamics. We learn a little bit about storytelling, the importance of the arts. We learn a lot about how to present things simply. Book 4, we learn a little bit more about storytelling. We learn about the most spiritual people we've ever read about. We also see in the third unit, the story of Baha'u'llah's life, how these spiritual principles in their lives apply to the world in which we live in. We see these principles in action. You may remember that every other section in that unit is about Baha'u'llah's life, and then the alternate ones are about the principles in action, how they apply. Once we get to book 5, Junior Youth, one of the interesting things we learn there is how we require a different style of presentation to the junior youth, 12 to 15-ish, as opposed to children. They learn differently. They require a different approach. The group dynamics are a little bit more intense, and the conversations are far deeper, far more serious. So one of the other things we learn in book 5 is how to differentiate our teaching styles for different groups. Then we get to book 6. By that point, we have begun to see the whole community dynamic. We've seen devotional meetings, children's classes. We've been partaking in study groups. We begin to see what it means to be part of a community in action, a spiritual-based community. Now in book 6, we're going to focus on that. So the group said that it was useful to have that introduction. Just thought I'd share it here. Cheers.